Let me wake up here. I need to do the
Okay.
Hulk Hogan thing real
Okay.
quick.
Okay.
Well, you know something, Joe Rogan? When I walked into this place, that was the perfect style for me, dude. The paintings, the mugshots, all the people that I beat up. I knew this was the place to be, man. So what you gonna do when Rogan and Hogan run wild on you, brother?
It's a good question.
Okay, I'm good. All right.
He just
let's
got
go.
I'm good now.
childhood boner.
And an adult
good.
boner, too.
I'm good now.
Let's go.
I'm good. The coffee's great. Thank you.
My pleasure. It's great to see. And thanks for, you have a cannabis company now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about this.
Well, I got hooked up with Mike Tyson, Flair, and all those
Same company.
guys. And our buddy Chad put the whole deal together. And there's kind of like, it's like the Italians, you know, there's an open lane, there's more room at the table for one more to eat.
Yeah.
And it was a situation we started talking about the CBD stuff, the energy, and the sleep stuff, and the whole nicotine thing. And there's a way to wind backwards from all the crazy, crazy bad stuff that a lot of us have participated in over the years.
Yeah.
And so it just made sense to move in that direction. And, you know, my brand's been around for so long, there's a lot of people that we really think we can help out with this stuff. So that's why we're going down that road, because a lot of my boys, you know, from the pharmaceutical side of things, made a lot of missteps and aren't around today, where I think this could have been a situation that might have helped them wind down from that crazy high they were on from the crowds and the lifestyle and everything to be able to settle back and become who they really are, you know.
Also, pain management.
Yeah, that's a whole nother trip, brother, because I've had 25 surgeries in the last 10 years. So when people say, hey, you know, the wrestling's fake, it goes right up my ass. Because at the end of the day, it's predetermined. If you and I are wrestling, there's going to tell us who's going to win or lose. But all that stuff that happens in the middle, it hurts. I mean, you know, and you know, it's a rough way to go. So,
Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think you guys have literally the hardest job in all of show business, because you're out there on the road. How many days a year in your prime?
well, we were talking earlier when I was doing this full time before this John Cena and The Rock and these guys came around. I was really flying 300 days a year,
300 days.
and I was wrestling 400 to 450 times a year.
Jesus.
I would wrestle twice Wednesday, like a Saturday morning. I'd sell out the Philadelphia Spectrum at 1 o'clock, and then that night be in Madison Square Garden. Wow. Then Sunday in 1 in the afternoon, I'd be in the Boston Garden, and then Sunday night I'd be at the LA Forum. You know, so it was a pretty good stretch, you know, and
That's an insane amount of work and an insane amount of punishment on your body, when, especially knowing what you did and the way you would fucking drop down. I mean, how many of those impacts
oh my God,
do you think that you've experienced?
thousands. I mean, now when I see it, you know, the guys are younger, faster, smaller athletes, but they're super athletes, you know. And the equipment, the rings they have, oh my God, it's like they're perfectly made where, you know, I'd go wrestle Andre the Giant in let's say, Baltimore Civic Center, and instead of the normal 18-foot ring, it would be a 22-foot boxing ring. It would be harder than the concrete. And Andre would go, don't go down, you know, which means if you fall down, you're not going to get back up. You know, so we'd actually have a match on our feet because Andre was like the boss. He was the leader, you know, and he was my guy. So, you know, the equipment's so much better now. A lot of the guys getting hurt today are getting hurt because of how athletic and the crazy stuff they're doing. But, you know, we were just getting hurt from just pounding on each other so much.
I remember watching Brock Lesnar do a front flip and land on his head. And I'm like, any other human is paralyzed from that. Any other human. To be 300 plus pounds, to be built like a fucking superhero, and to do a front flip and land on your fucking head. Most people are dead.
I think it was a backflip. I think it was a moonsault, right?
Was it?
Wasn't
Yeah, I
a
think so.
moonsault.
You would know more
It was
than
like an
anybody.
inverted.
Yeah.
He stood forward looking at you. It was like an inverted.
So it was
flip he was trying
forward.
to-
There it is, Tony.
Oh, it is forward, yeah.
Look at the fucking
watch him invert.
size of
Oh,
it.
it was a forward backflip.
And he
Jesus
landed on his
Christ.
own head.
Oh, my God.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
Most people are dead.
Yeah.
Most people are dead.
Well,
I mean,
get-
I don't know what permanent damage he suffered, but by the way, he went from that to fighting the UFC.
Yeah.
He fought in the UFC after that,
Well,
which is insane.
Well, I got him first when he came back from the UFC, okay? And I was kind of like winding down, putting guys over and doing my thing. And Vince goes, I want you to work with Brock. I went, okay, well, I knew his buddy Brad Riggins, who was he lived in Minnesota. He was the coach of the Olympic team several years back. And so when Brock was in high school, we had heard of him. We kept an eye on him, you know. But when he came back from UFC, they gave him to me first, and he was really intense, brother. You know, he was really intense. So my whole thing is we always grab somebody and squeeze them and give them the office. Like, if you got my head and you're about to break my neck,
Right.
give you the office so you
Right.
lighten up, you know. And I squeezed the piss out of him, giving him the office, and finally I just started calling him Broccoli. And I said, Broccoli? I got him to laugh a little bit. I said, let me tell you something. If you keep hurting me in here, if you don't loosen up on the old man here, I'm going to make you look really, really bad because you're going to be in here by yourself. You know, I used to tease him all the time because he's a really good friend, you know. And so when I got him first, he was really, really intense. And now he's turned out to be one of the best workers this business has ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, he draws money, he backpedals, he sells, he's got instinct. He's, you know, got placement, he knows where he's at, he listens. Like, you don't have to tell him what to do. You don't have to have a right or write the match out. He goes out and listens to the crowd with his mind and his heart, you know, and it's something that's a lost art form. He's got it, man. So he figured it out.
That's interesting that it's like a lost art form, because for people who don't know how you guys do a match, like, there's a lot of improvisation going on.
Yeah, if you're really good at what you do, you're in the back, and all of a sudden, if you're really good at what you do, back in the day, I'm talking old school stuff, the referee would come to you and say, hey, you know, Hogan, they want you to go over Piper with a leg drop, or they want a count out or whatever, you know. So knowing that, you know, Piper was so good at what he did, or Mr. Wonderful, a lot of guys I worked for, we'd be, if we were in the same dressing room, we wouldn't even talk. I'll see you out there, brother. You're going over tonight. Okay, I'm going over. It was that good, you know, and the crowd will tell you what to do if you listen.
And you guys have worked together so many times.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of times where you run into guys like Chris Jericho. First time I ever worked with him, you know, they wanted Jericho to put me over, and Jericho and I went out there, and I didn't know what to expect, and he was brilliant in the ring. It was like magic. We didn't even have to say a word. I told Vince, I said, give me that guy every night. That's like a day off, you know. I didn't get hurt at all.